All right, so jumping ahead to last night's big show, a show that all of us here were super excited for, and it's been a minute. I think all
Twitter
of us
was too. Twitter it was everywhere on Twitter.
It was trending.
Kind of odd.
Yeah, so Impact Wrestling had Slammiversary, their big summer show, aka their version of WrestleMania, I guess. And yeah, Richard, I just want to ask you, like, there was a lot of buzz for this event, and where did this buzz and hype come from?
I think it's the night before with the Good Brothers making their announcement at midnight.
Yeah,
because they put out their podcast yesterday too. You know, kind of putting out everything that went on with them in WWE. So I think everyone wanted to see that, and they also wanted to see who was going to show up because Impact has been teasing it forever. All these names and people that might show up, and then sure enough, a bunch of them did, and a bunch of them didn't so far. But they're also going to do some recording this week, and we'll see.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I think the buzz and the hype had a lot to do with just the timing of it all. So it was September. I keep saying September, July 18th, and all the WWE people, the big bloodbath that was April 15th. So 90 days was July 15th. So literally a couple days later was Slammiversary. So all these free agents were eligible to start showing up at other promotions. And since Slammiversary was the big non-WWE show this weekend, a lot of people anticipated who was going to show up here. And some of the predictions were or the people that did show up, we all predicted was going to happen. So not too shocking. But nonetheless, it was still great seeing all of them. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and just run down the card. So first match of the night. So the Rascals last week put out this open challenge tag match. And a lot of people, I think, Richard, it's safe to say they thought that's where the Good Brothers were just going to show up.
I think everyone thought that.
Yeah, it was like so.
Universally.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, a tag team open challenge. God, who can it be? But lo and behold, a big shocker or surprise, Motor City Machine Guns, the team of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabian showed up, answered the call, and had a pretty good match. So your thoughts on that opening match for Slammiversary?
I wrote down happy shock because I was not expecting that whatsoever, and it looked like the Motor City Machine Guns hadn't missed a step. I did get really annoyed very early on in this with Josh Matthews acting surprised and then talking about how Chris Sabin couldn't wait to get in there earlier today and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, can you just keep the continuity for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Please.
It's
but the match itself was great. I'm not very familiar with the Rascals.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look like much. But they had a really good match with the Machine Guns. So loved that match. Really cool way to start the show.
Yeah, Alex Shelley. So this has been kind of a big year for Alex Shelley because earlier this year he, for one night only, it looks like, was able to re-team with another tag team member in Kushida, right, Tommy, on NXT.
Yeah.
And they have history.
Time Splitters.
Yeah, so they have history together. And then, last night team up with Chris Sabian. So it was very cool to see them, back together. And obviously they have so much history with TNA / Impact Wrestling. And so seeing them back together was very cool. Alex Shelley, I thought, looked great. Chris Sabian, I thought just looked a tad slow. And then I kind of heard earlier today, I guess he has history of some knee issues. So maybe that's what kind of slowed him down a little bit compared to what we've seen in the past. Because Chris Sabian's one of the most decorated X Division champions as well.
He's a world champion for TNA.
Yeah,
so
all that.
He's done everything there.
And the Rascals, from what I've seen as well, I mean, they're the young, high-flying team.
The gimmick is really dumb.
So, yeah, I don't know. Are they supposed to be like stoners, but also high-flying? You know what I mean? Like they got
There's a common thread I had in my notes, and I'll say it here instead of whenever I get to it. I felt like, because I hadn't watched Impact in so long, they need some direction there. There's a lot of people that feel like they're doing what they want to do, kind of like the wrestlers have their control as long as it's approved by management. And it's just kind of like, you have the gimmicks. And it just, especially for the women's battle royal, as we'll get into.
Yeah. No, I totally get what you're saying with all that. And
they're fine wrestlers. It's just like, it's that thing that when you see someone Impact or an Indie or Ring of Honor, and then they come to NXT and they feel like you've never seen them before, even though you've seen them 100 times. It's like, wow, this guy's really got their stuff together finally. It's like, well, it's because they have coaches.
Yeah, and that's something you and I were talking earlier. It's good and bad with WWE and NXT and just their performance center. Yeah, they're able to sign people and really mold them into the performer that they see best for them, and also the gimmick that fits them, their personality as well, and for good or bad. But WWE has their style of wrestling and storytelling that they want to deliver every week on TV, so it's almost like, okay, you might have learned elsewhere how to do this and that, but when you come to WWE, you got to learn their system, and depending on the person, it can make them a much better performer. And so, yeah, as you said, Impact, who knows, like, behind the scenes, who runs what gives the direction. But, yeah, it's definitely, you could tell, it's obviously
very loose,
lower budget. And
I think that's the one thing you don't need a budget for. It's just direction. So, because I was trying, when I was getting through the show, I was just kind of like you, I'm like, not sure what it is. It's just something's not working. Then it kind of clicked for me. It's like, these guys have no direction there.
So maybe, I guess what I meant by lower budget is maybe they just don't have the budget to hire like a big enough staff behind the scenes to kind of control how these
but
people...
you look at, we both watch MLW when it's on.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's a smaller production than this. Yeah. And they've got it down tight. And same with the NWA. Mm-hmm. They don't have the budget that these guys do. And it's just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I saw a lot in the show I liked.
Yeah.
But there was these little things that I'm just like, God, they need to work on some of this.
Yeah. And so I like to think of it, not to jump ahead to like my overall takeaways, but I just will say this. With WrestleMania, you always say like that's kind of like the end of the movie. So maybe the last year of storytelling all coming to a head. And then like the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania is kind of like a reset and launching new fresh stories for the remainder of the year. That's what I'm hoping Slammiversary is. This kind of wraps up some loose ends and whatnot, storylines. And now, starting this Tuesday when they're back on Access
we'll
TV.
Get to that because I'll tell you why I'm going to watch Tuesday for the first time in forever.
Well, I'm just saying, like, moving forward now, it is like a reset button for Impact Wrestling and direction-wise where they're going to go. But so yeah, next match up was Moose as the TNA Heavyweight Champion taking on Tommy Dreamer, and I have thoughts on this, but I kind of want to hear yours first, Richard, and see if we're on the same page or not. So yeah, what were your takeaways?
My takeaway is that Moose needs to be in NXT.
Okay.
And that it was a good match, but Tommy Dreamer took me out of it trying to be Terry Funk. It felt like he was acting Terry Funk, but he wasn't. It didn't feel legit, and he's a veteran. Like, he should know not to do stuff like this.
Okay. Awesome. I'm so glad you said that because I was going to text you this last night, but I wasn't sure when you were going to watch. I didn't want to spoil anything, but I feel like Tommy Dreamer is turning into this generation's Terry Funk. Like what I saw.
But it's not working. It's almost sad because before he was doing this, he was coming out with the Dusty Rhodes polka dots and doing the bionic elbow. And it's just kind of like, why?
Yes.
Like, you're Tommy Dreamer. Like, you're the innovator of violence.
Yes.
The landlord of extreme. Come on.
Awesome. Okay. I'm glad you said all that. Okay. I totally agree because no offense to Tommy Dreamer, it's just he was moving very slow in this match.
Yeah. And he should have come, if he wanted to do that, he should have come dressed in the Funk tights and like just done the whole gimmick the whole time.
And that's the thing is like the extreme.
He is half-assed Terry Funk.
Yeah. It's just, I was just like, why is he on this show then? Like I know he cut that great promo a week or two ago on Access TV, but it was just, I did not, this match, like, listen, Tommy Dreamer, a friend of the show, we've had him on before, we've hung out with him when he was in the Bay Area, awesome guy, very nice guy, he does amazing work on Busted Open Radio, he's a legendary performer, wrestler, but this match particularly, I'm like, he should not have been on the card. I just felt he was moving really slow, and like moves.
They didn't have Rob Van Dam on the show.
Yeah.
But they had this.
And that's the thing, is like Moose, God, his athleticism, I was blown away. The moonsaults, the backflips, I'm like, damn.
Freak athlete. He's a freak athlete.
And dude, first off, the white belt or changing out the strap to white, that was cool. I liked it. That looked really
I like
clean.
the robe too. The robe looked pretty good.
But yeah, Tommy Dreamer, like the hardcore match, or they called it old school. It just it didn't work because
didn't like that.
Like, listen, we said this before. Like older wrestlers, they can cover up their oldness and their maybe slow abilities doing hardcore stuff because that kind of covers up why they're not doing these big moves. They can just, use a kendo stick on someone instead of trying to do a backflip or something. You know what I'm saying? But it's this match. Plus, since there was no crowd there's no one to react to, like using these different weapons. There's no one to feed off of. So it just felt kind of awkward, I thought. And then even like the thumbtacks at the end, they didn't really use them. Like he landed like on his belly.
Yeah.
And it didn't really like do any.
Well, and I've seen enough Terry Funk that like he's even doing Terry Funk's lines during the match. Because if you watch enough Terry Funk starts getting belligerent and starts calling his opponent a son of a bitch and blah, blah, blah. And Tommy's doing that. And it's like, is this a title match? Or is this a fun thing for you to do?
Well, that's the thing. It was the second match of the night. So it's like these big spots he's doing. It's like, yeah, you would think will be for like a world title match or something, like a big main event. But even at the shirt, was it Moose Sucks
Eggs?
Yeah, so like Terry Funk and Dusty Rhodes in the 80s. So yeah, listen, I love Tommy Dreamer. Very nice guy. Big baseball fan. It was fun talking baseball with him, right, Tommy, that one time?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I'm just saying it just like, okay, he did not bring much to the table that night. And I just kind of looking at other people's comments, everyone kind of agreed.
He's a punching bag for Moose.
Yeah, and so like Moose, to his credit, with his athleticism, he's trying to carry the match. But yeah, it was just a little bit of disappointment. So, all right, so let's jump up next to the third match. It was the gauntlet match for the number one contender for the Impact's Knockout Championship. And yeah, Richard, was I texting you or who else? We
texted this morning.
Okay,
I saw this late last night.
Yeah,
and it made me very angry.
Yes, this was horrible. Like, listen,
this is what people think ladies wrestling is that haven't watched wrestling in a while.
Exactly. And okay, I'm trying to think how I want to phrase all this properly. Like, listen, to all the female competitors from that match, respect, going out there, performing, putting your body on the line. Listen, so much respect, and just for you're doing something we're not doing. We're not going out there wrestling. But nonetheless, from a performance standpoint, it was just bad. Like, and I'm not.
Let me tell you what I wrote down.
Okay,
and then I want to hear what you guys thought.
Okay.
So I put down the order that people came out in. So I put Tasha Steelz.
Yeah.
And I like Tasha Steelz because I've seen her on the NWA, and Kylie Ray.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, this could be good. Then some random guy came out who
Johnny
looked like
Bravo.
No one I've ever seen. Kimberly, Kira Hogan, Sue Young as Susie, which I also put in parentheses, terrible. Katie Forbes, terrible. Havoc, Rosemary. Sue Young and Rosemary need to drop the theater kid act. There was a lame twerk off. I wrote, "Am I high? Alicia Edwards is shit. I'm done," and I hit fast forward.
Okay.
The end.
Yeah. So, okay. First off, the rules for the gauntlet match I thought was interesting. Was as far as first two competitors come in, they got like 2 minutes to go at, and then after that, like Royal Rumble style, 1 minute after that for everyone to come in, and then when the last two are left, then the ref jumps in and it's just a regular traditional one-on-one match. I thought the rules was interesting, but yeah, it was a
lot of shrieking and yelling stupid things,
and just a lot of laying around too. Like a lot of the female competitors were just laying in the corner while the female competitors would go out in the middle. The rest are just laying there looking. Even Madison Rayne at one point, I saw her looked over and was smiling towards Josh Matthews because that's her husband, or yeah, not to break kayfabe, that's her husband. So, but
they break it all the time.
And then Susie, she comes into the ring and she starts doing these hand strikes, and like the first one out of the gate, I forgot who she was going after, but she hits her thigh, but she's like a foot away from the person's face, and the person still reacts and sells it. I cannot wait for that clip to be on WrestleBotch on WrestleBotch's Instagram. It was so bad. I was like, what? Oh my God, it was bad. But yeah, it was just Katie Forbes, Rob Van Dam's girl, comes out and she's just twerking, but she was like a terrible wrestler. And like, it's just...
She wrestled the way she looked.
It was just bad. And then like the production issues, let's talk about that real quick. Just the mics were all off and the music but the camera work.
Music playing during the Motor City Machine Gun match.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes into the match.
Nice.
Very weird.
Yeah. And then even at one point, but this match with the eliminations, you see the eliminations and the camera is not cutting that. So we're seeing people get eliminated. Or
and there was a clock sometimes, and then other times there wasn't a clock.
Yeah, well, they're telling us these so-and-so got eliminated, but we didn't see it because they didn't cut to when that person was going over the ropes. They had this wide shot, but you see someone way in a corner get thrown out, but we didn't see it. It was just bad camera work, and like they were cutting to the wrong angles and stuff, and it was just bad. So yeah, I mean, Kylie Ray, she ended up winning, taking out Taya Valkyrie. So for Kylie Ray, I mean, listen, there's a lot. I mean, we all know her history. A year ago, she was with AEW. She quit. She went to Impact, and a lot of people were happy to see her at Impact. She's a great performer. I'm excited to see just her keep growing with Impact. But yeah, this match kind of made me kind of like, I don't know if this women's division is as good as I thought it was going to be.
They've got 3 good women, I think.
Yeah. So
one was in this match, and the other 2 were in the other match.
Exactly. So listen, I know WWE gets credit for the women's revolution for the last 5 years, but you can argue Impact and TNA have been doing started it 10 years ago with all their female wrestlers over the years, and a lot of people are saying like their women's division right now is really good, and I was excited for this. And I'm like, nah, like NXT's division's still the best. WWE, it's
better than AEW's, but not as good as NXT's.
Yeah, so it's hopefully, they'll still improve. But all right, let's jump ahead to the X Divisions match. Champion Willie Mack taking on Chris Bay. And Richard, thoughts on this one here with your notes?
I thought it was a good match. I don't understand or know who Chris Bay is still, and I wrote down I thought the wrong man won, and that Chris Bay is really green still. So, I mean, that's all I wrote because I found myself not into that match as much.
Yeah, Chris Bay, I mean, Tommy and I, we saw him wrestle at West Coast Pro Wrestling, I think end of last year it was. I mean, tremendous athlete when you think of the X Division. It's stuff that Chris Bay can do in the ring, but still very green. There were some moments he kind of like botched some spots with Willie Mack. And Willie Mack, the guy is a freak of nature.
He's incredible. I love the Razor Ramon gear.
Yeah, so like, dude, he will... he's a bigger dude, and he's got a belly and everything on him. He doesn't have the most athletic looking body, but he'll like, heart hit and everything, but then he'll bust out like these big power moves, jumping and like, oh my God, it's awesome. So he's just such a fun wrestler. And yeah, I think there were some moments Chris Bay was trying to lay some stuff and a couple little botches. And yeah, as you're right, I think he's still very green. He did get the victory. I guess this Chris Bay is still someone that they just signed him last year. So I'm sure.
A couple months ago. I don't even think it's been a year.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing all this hype about him. I'm like, I've never even heard of this guy. So.
Well, that's the thing. They keep saying Bay Area. He's from the Bay Area. And I'm like, wait, where's he from? I think he's from Las Vegas.
He's from Vegas.
Yeah, he's from Vegas, but B-E-Y.
He's a Future Stars of Wrestling guy. My Buddy Williams seen him every indie show he goes to out there. And he says he's very good. But like I just saw an indie match basically on a pay-per-view.
Yeah. So he still has a lot of work ahead of him, but I'm sure, being with Impact and more TV time, it'll do wonders for him. And then jumping up a tag team division, tag title match. It was Champions the North taking on the odd pairing, the odd couple of Ken
Shamrock and Pig Shit.
It's Sami Callihan.
Nice.
So Richard, thoughts on this one?
This is my first time seeing the North.
Okay.
And I was blown away. They are awesome.
Yeah.
That is an amazing tag team.
Yeah.
I can't compare it to something else. It was just so good on its own. Ken Shamrock looks amazing still.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that some of his slower parts worked towards a story in the match. It worked out for me very well. Like, they kept attacking him in the corner, and he wasn't jumping out of the way or anything. It just felt like the veteran didn't have time to get out of the way and was taking all these strikes. And Ethan Page has got himself in incredible shape. Because the last time I remember watching him, he wasn't out of shape, but he wasn't in the best shape.
Yeah.
But he looked really good here.
Dude, I mean, just him on the mic. He's great on the mic as well. And so the North, I mean, they get the victory here and they retain and, over a year plus now as champions. And with Ken Shamrock, I was just laughing in some parts where he was just like literally running into guys. Like not even like, he's just throwing his whole body. He's doing
shoulder tackles. And for a guy that hasn't had like a full wrestling career, but he's been in wrestling for 30 years. Like, very impressive, because there's guys that had done it for 30 years and they come back for one more match that can't do what he's doing right now.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, to Ken Shamrock's credit, I think for years we always give Kurt Angle a lot of credit for being a quick learner. Ken Shamrock in the 90s, he was very quick as well. So I just thought at times he looked a little winded, though. I mean, he is an older man.
Oh, yeah. So, and these guys are stellar athletes.
Tommy and I, we were watching. He was like, it's Rocky Balboa coming to the ring. It was just...
Tommy, what do you think of the North?
I think they're a good tag team. I think Ethan Page does a really good job at selling, and
Josh Alexander.
Josh Alexander is a terrific amateur wrestler.
I love he wears the headgear too.
Yeah, very Rick Steiner like.
Yeah, so no, it was the North. I mean, they definitely show why they're one of the best tag teams outside WWE or just around the whole world, if you want to call it that. But then, Richard, at the very end, we kind of saw Shamrock, Sami Callihan, kind of a little miscommunication, and they were kind of not on the same page. I mean, this was, like you said, the odd couple for a reason, because they've had their rivalry back and forth in recent time, and so kind of fall apart a little bit. And Shamrock thought Callihan pushed him right, and then Shamrock got the pin, or took the pin, and then they end up losing. So do you think Shamrock, Callihan are going to keep going at it, and then the North are going to move on to someone else, as we kind of saw at the end? But yeah, I just kind of thought of that relationship.
Sami Callihan looks like what BO is, and I hope that they're not together anymore. Post-match is very exciting. The Motor City Machine Guns against the North on Impact this week.
Yes.
That's such a good tease. I'm going to watch Impact for the first time in quite a long time.
Yeah, I wonder if the Motor City Machine Guns, I wonder if they sign long term, or is this like a appearance by appearance deal? Hopefully this is not just a one-off on regular TV and then they're gone completely. I hope maybe they did re-sign maybe a little bit of a longer deal, and they can do some more fun tag team matches in Impact Wrestling. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to the North match this Tuesday. But no, the North, awesome match performance, and shows why they're such a badass tag team, and looking forward to see kind of other combinations. Oh, before I forget, speaking of tag teams, well, we saw Heath Slater show up earlier in the night. And I mean, God, talk about mic issues and production issues. He's in the ring.
Wrong time, yeah.
Cutting his promo, and you can't hear his mic. It's not synced up with the TV audio, and you just hear it from like the PA speakers, and it was horrible. It was still a good promo on his part, and
it's wasted though, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they recorded it somewhere and they can just dub it in after and recreate that scene. But later on, we see him with Rhino celebrating, like, the longtime friend they haven't seen in a while, celebrating. They've seen each other happy, and we know their history of being on SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the first ever SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And so they were happy to see each other. And we see Scott D'Amore tell him, hey, closed set, you don't work here, get out of here. He was actually kind of nice about it, as he said, because he's Canadian. But Richard, just Heath Slater's, your thoughts on his surprise appearance at Impact?
I think Impact's a perfect fit for him. So, I mean, you kind of knew you were going to see him.
Yeah.
Timing wise, it's really good, since we just saw him on Raw.
Yeah.
And he got to show off that free agent shirt, and then he shows up again wearing the free agent shirt, and I'd be into him and Rhino teaming again, because that would just mean another really cool tag team for Impact. Because from the show we watched, the tag team division's the best thing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So Motor City Machine Guns. I wouldn't mind seeing the Rascals again. They didn't insult me that bad, but
I was just gonna say
the Good Brothers.
I was just gonna say for Heath, it's good seeing him in Impact, and I think he could do big things. And let's look at recent history, guys who went to Impact, did really well, and then come back to WWE. Look at Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. I mean, the list goes on. So for
Cody that was one of Cody's first stops.
Yes,
your boy.
Yeah, I love Cody, my man. So I'm just saying for Heath, this could be a good thing for however long he's there for. Even Johnny Mundo, John Morrison. So I think for all of them, this could be a really good opportunity for him. Maybe show who he is, and who knows if it's a long-term deal, or maybe WWE wants him back down the road. Who knows? But I'm just saying this could be really good for Heath and really show what he can do in the ring, his personality, what kind of gimmick he can really create with the character, and all that good stuff. I'm happy. And it kind of sounds like, he's not technically signed. So maybe the storyline is he's trying to work his way for a contract, very similar to 2016 when he was undrafted from Raw and SmackDown. So he was trying to look for a job. So it's like rehashing that old storyline, but who knows? Impact could have some fun with that as well. So I think, we can all agree maybe we can just talk more Impact every week now with some of these new characters and whatnot. So let's jump ahead to the women's championship match between Jordan Grace, the champion, taking on Deonna Purrazzo. Richard, your reactions, takeaway from this championship match?
I thought it was a good match. I thought it felt like an NXT Women's Championship match on TV, not a takeover. Do you know what I mean? Like it was not much to write home about. We got a new champion in Deonna Purrazzo. Mm-hmm. She's a very good athlete. It was a good match. I liked it.
Tommy?
I had some concerns, especially after the Battle Royal Gauntlet thing.
Me too. I'm with you.
I liked it. It was good. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Tommy, what were your takeaways from it?
I think Jordan Grace is fantastic. To me, she's like a female version of Vader.
Yeah, she even did a Vader bomb at one point.
She did do a Vader bomb. And Deonna Purrazzo, I think she kind of said maybe she wants to, the reason why she's probably an Impact because she wants to figure out her character and everything. Yeah. And I don't think Purrazzo's going to stay that long in Impact, quite honestly. And also she did a lot more in this match than she ever did in NXT.
Yeah, so a couple things from that. Yeah, I'm with you. For her, she probably definitely wants to use this opportunity on a little bit of a smaller scale to find herself and what kind of character she wants to be in the gimmick and really hone her craft. And that's, from a radio, for me, from a radio standpoint, there are people who start out in the business, you start in a small market, figure out who you are, get better, get confidence, and you move up to a middle-sized market, then to a large market. So with each stepping stone, that you take those opportunities to get better as a person, as a personality. So from a wrestling standpoint, maybe she's going to use this opportunity to really find out who she is. But then again, she's champion, so maybe in some ways they might think she's fine the way she is. I don't know. With her though, I'm excited that she's getting this opportunity that she wasn't getting in NXT. And I'm sure for her, she has a little chip on her shoulder and wants to prove all the critics and maybe people who passed up on her or let her go. She could prove them wrong. There was a big mistake. Because I'm like thinking NXT could have easily kept her, but got rid of what's her name?
Well, she asked for her release. That's why she was on. She's been on Impact. She didn't get released with everyone else on that quarantine thing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just curious. You could have kept her, but yet you still have Aaliyah, what's her name with Robert Stone?
Oh God, the walking carpet, Aaliyah.
And you got guys like Kona Reeves still on the roster.
Boner Reeves.
You have these people on the roster who are not doing anything or not as good, and you had someone like her who's gone now. Who's very talented. But I really want to see her strive and really get better. But she's the champion now, so this is obviously a huge opportunity for her to really just take her skills to the next level.
I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
And she's very skilled.
I love this match. It was hard hitting. They were going all over the ring and outside the ring. Hard hitting.
The finish, the submission finish.
But I was going to say, yeah, they had the big spots, too, power moves. But then they were getting very technical with a lot of their submissions. And Deonna Purrazzo, that awesome finish at the end with like the double.
Yeah, the double armbar.
Yeah, great finish. Just shows that she's also a very badass technical wrestler. So, yeah, as you said, between Jordynne Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, and Kylie Rae, they do have some shiny spots in their women's division. So I think
Taya Valkyrie.
Yeah, Taya Valkyrie as well. Yeah. So I mean, they still got a great division to work with, and hopefully they can help elevate the rest of the women's division as well. All right, let's jump up to the final match of the night, the main event for the Impact World Championship. It was supposed to be a fatal 4-way, so it was announced Eddie Edwards, Ace Austin, Trey Miguel from the Rascals, and a mystery fourth opponent. And we all know the history by now, between Tessa Blanchard being let go, Michael Elgis also being let go. So it was supposed to be what, a 6-way? Five-way, yes. Five-way. But now it turned into the 3 left who were not fired, and then they added a fourth. It was supposed to be a former heavyweight champion. So we see the music hit, and it's Rich Swann, and we see him earlier in the night, in the back on his crutches, and we're like, oh, he's there. So he comes out, and I think a lot of people are like, what? That's the fourth opponent? Like, Rich Swann's cool and all, but that's kind of a letdown. He's already someone that's been in Impact, and all of a sudden, the music cuts again. Another song plays, and it's Eric Young, who is EY, who was a former TNA champion, to his credit. He does have a legendary career in his time in TNA, not so much with WWE/NXT, but yeah. So, Richard, your thoughts on all of a sudden it turned to a fatal 5-way?
Well, I put down that Ace Austin looks like Gambit, and they kept comparing him to AJ Styles.
Yes,
which I didn't understand that at all. So the announcers kind of spoiled him for me. I wrote down that Trey Miguel looks like a jobber and shouldn't just go by Trey.
He looks like Mini Ricochet to me, Ricochet Jr.
I felt Eric Young's presence was deflating until the match started getting going, and then it was just like, oh man, he is controlling that ring right now,
dude. When he laid that pile driver, I'm sure that's a move.
That was a beautiful pile driver too.
I'm sure that's something he hasn't done in a long time because WWE doesn't allow that anymore. But he was like, bam, laid that with a vengeance.
Like the first couple minutes was a little paint by numbers for me.
Yeah, feeling each other out,
waiting for the next spot. But then Eric Young took control for a large majority of it. And Rich Swann looked great. I haven't seen Rich Swann since he left WWE, and he's in great physical shape, and
very
he was moving great.
Yeah.
No,
it was,
I put down that Eddie Edwards looks like he wrestles or works at Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, he does.
He doesn't do it for me.
I don't know what
I liked his old look.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. What was it, the American Wolves?
Yeah. Just go back to wearing the tights and the boots.
I mean, like for a while, like when he transitioned out of the more traditional ring gear, it was just wearing jeans and like a hoodie. Like, okay, he's kind of more like hardcore, and then all of a sudden, now he's wearing like extended jorts, and he's got like this terrible haircut now. He shaves sides with the beard, but like braided top hair. I was like, what look is this? I mean,
his terrible wrestler wife is probably dressing him and giving him designs on how he should look.
Does him and Ace Austin look like they work at like a Hot Topic or something?
It's just
Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Tees. I mean,
Eddie's the manager and Ace is the employee.
Or Ace Austin. Yeah,
that's what. Come on, I mean, there's an age difference, but
I mean,
yeah.
But no, I'm with you. Like, listen, Eddie, to his credit, I know he's been a long time TNA/Impact competitor, member of the roster. They say he's now like the heart and soul of that company, just because he's one of the last survivors from all the different ownerships. But I mean, he eventually did get the victory. So
before we get to the ending part of it, there was one spot in the match I loved. The Eric Young doing the corner power bomb. To Ace Edwards and Eddie Edwards, and they just both fall out of the ring was awesome. I don't think I've seen that.
Oh yeah, that's what you're talking about, Tommy. Where Eric Young had Rich Swann, and then took him and hit both of them, and they fell out.
It was like he was playing tag with them.
That was great. That was great.
It was like boop.
No, that was very cool. That very cool spot. No, I'm with you.
Good match though overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, like it was a little bit weird in the beginning. They were trying to feel each other out. I mean, when you get that many people in the ring, it takes time for people to develop some chemistry on the fly. And so once the second half, it really started picking up. And for Eric Young, he got eliminated from Rich Swann, but then he came back and like tore up his knee. And
that was a great angle. Right there.
Dude. I mean, Eric Young going full heel there and like just really tearing Rich Swann apart. And selling the fact he just came back from surgery and rehabilitation for a long time. And so that, I mean, the great thing about a match with that many people, you could set up different alternate storylines from it. So looks like Eric Young, Rich Swann are going to have a program now.
Yep.
And then I was trying to think what other spot. There was so much in this match. It's
well, they were doing the Shining Wizards at the end, and they were going back and forth with their finishing moves.
I like that Boston knee party. Who's calling it that? I like that. Very cool. And then Ace Austin. I mean, the fact the commentators kept saying if he wins, he'd be the youngest Impact champion. So I thought it was like, are they really foreshadowing he's going to win this? But then
I thought the other way around, because like they kept talking about Eddie Edwards the whole match and how Eddie Edwards is the stalwart of Impact Wrestling. This and that, and it's like, the announcers need to back off of putting over the talent so hard because we're already watching it. So it's like, we already know they're good. You don't need to tell us how great they are the whole time the match is going on.
Not to change subject too much, but just real quick. Don Callis, I was texting you this. Like, I felt like the beginning of the show, I felt like he was a little like low on energy. I don't know if he's
got Corona.
But I don't know if he was like pissed off because with all the him and Scott D'Amore kind of run things behind the scenes. So I don't know from like a manager standpoint, he was just pissed off of all the technical issues going on. So it's tough. You're trying to do commentary, but in the back of your mind, things are not running right on TV. And so you're trying to stay focused play by play, but you're also got back in your mind these issues that are pissing you off. So I kind of wonder if that's what was happening there. But he started picking things up later on in the show. But Eddie Edwards had pulled off the victory here and was celebrating. But then Ace Austin and then his Tommy says version of Kevin Nash.
Madman Fulton.
Madman Fulton, who used to be in NXT.
So he came out.
He was the original part of Sanity.
Right.
Yes. So they come out and they start attacking Eddie Edwards before he can really celebrate. And then, sure enough, the music hits and the Good Brothers logo appears, and
out comes Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Or no,
they have the best music in Impact.
So they come out.
Everyone's music sucks.
Real quick, before I forget, Eric Young. I mean, I should have said it was really cool seeing Woody Harrelson make his return to Impact Wrestling. Tommy thought he looked like.
I thought he looked like. Hold on.
The guy from was it Midnight?
Peter Garrett, the lead singer of Midnight Oil.
So I might do this later for social. Is all these separated at births? So Eric Young, Woody Harrelson, that guy,
Chris Slade
from AC/DC,
the drummer from AC/DC. The guy, it's like an Australian theme here.
The guy from
rock bands,
The Hills That Have Eyes.
Oh, Michael Berryman.
Yeah. So I might do that later anyway. So
that one works.
Yeah. So anyway, so we see the Good Brothers come out and
they fake the Too Sweet and then the Magic Killer.
Well, Bam. The Cutter as well, right? Carl Anderson did the Cutter.
Oh, and I was also going to say Eric Young looks a little like Angry Anderson, the lead singer from Rose Tattoo as well.
I'll do
See, it's an Aussie band, rock band theme here.
Bald-headed guys. But yeah, so they did the stunner or Cutter into the Magic Killer. And then they celebrate with Eddie Edwards. So, yeah, they officially signed with Impact, or made their debut, I should say. It was already announced on social. And then Eddie Edwards gets in the top corner, celebrating with the beer and the title and the championship. And all of a sudden, the screen goes black. And I was like, oh, no, is this another production issue here? Like, they cut it short while he's celebrating. Can they get one thing right? But sure enough, it's you see this
trouble. You
see like the three like painted white stripes, lines, and also you see this large figure with like was the hoodie. That's like the hoodie we've been seeing in all those promos, right? And like the teaser. All of a sudden turns around. Yes, it's EC3.
Ethan Carter the third.
With the little,
Carters are coming back to Impact.
He's got, what was it, whiskey in his hand? Or
it was a glass of whiskey.
And
just throws it
against the
wall.
It's against the wall, shatters, and walks off. And that's the end of Slammiversary. So, yeah.
Nice little vignette right
there.
there.
Yeah, so definitely.
Overall, good show.
I was going to say the last, 10 minutes of Slammiversary, I think, delivered in that sense as far as the ending of the main event.
Like you said, Richard, it was hit or miss, and it was...
Same with Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
So, I guess your thoughts on all the new signings or people who showed up between, was it Motor City Machine Gun? We also saw... let's see.
Heath Slater,
the Good Brothers, EC3, Eric Young. Just your thoughts on that group of talent that signed.
It worked. They got the buzz. I'm gonna watch Tuesday. I'm sure there's other people that are gonna watch on Tuesday. Yeah. I'm interested to see what they do next.
Yeah,
you know?
Me too.
Because there's a match to look forward to. There's a string of talent that we didn't even see wrestle to look forward to. So. We'll see.
I think for me, like what you and I were talking earlier, was I think with their veteran and experience, hopefully by them coming to Impact, they can really help nurture the young green talent that's on the roster and help these guys get better competitors with experience and help with their craft and just maybe help put some of them over and vice versa. So I'm really excited for just the balance of like veterans and the young talent that they have. And
the last time, if you think about it, the last time they had buzz was when the Hardys were there.
Yeah.
But the Hardys made it the Hardys show.
Yeah.
So it's like you weren't really watching for Impact. There's so many guys that they just brought in that there's little parts of the show that you can watch all the way through and recognize this guy or that guy and kind of see where this is going to go. So I'm happy with what they got. So far.
And I think we talked about this before, is like with all the veterans that are coming in with their huge social media following that they gain while in WWE, hopefully they can use that to really help promote Impact and just get some more buzz going. And like I said, hopefully this Tuesday is like a reset point for Impact. And I think we'll all agree we're going to start tuning in, and I'm sure we'll do more talking about them for weeks to come, and I'm looking forward to it. So very fun show overall.